China's shocking future. Youth is giving up on life. Hey folks, hold on to your seats because there's some crazy stuff happening in China. The younger generation is making some serious moves, and it's not the kind of steps you'd expect. They're giving up their jobs, leaving their families behind, and basically giving up on life as we know it. What started as a seemingly silly trend called Bailon, or let it rot, has exploded into a full-blown rebellion against the country's government. And boy oh boy is it making waves. China has been a country of mystery and intrigue for centuries, shrouding in a veil of secrecy and mythos. And while it may seem like the recent trend of Bailon is a sudden eruption of youth rebellion, it's actually been simmering beneath the surface for quite some time. This moment is so powerful that it's even affecting China's economy and future. The government is freaking out so much that their top dog, Xi Jinping, had to step in and plead with the youth to go back to work. But it seems like the message isn't getting through, and the youth are standing strong in their peaceful yet effective protest against the CCP's governance. It's like something out of a movie, where the underdogs rise up and challenge the establishment. The stakes are high, and the tension is palpable. Will the youth of China continue to fight for their rights and demand change? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this is a story that's worth keeping an eye on. The trend of Bailon, or let it rot, started as a way for young people in China to express their disillusionment with the pressures and expectations of modern life. It was a sort of protest against the rat race mentality that dominates much of China's society, where success is measured by things like education, career, and material possessions. The idea behind Bailon is to let go of these things and focus on what truly matters in life, such as relationships, personal growth, and happiness. However, this trend has now taken on a more political dimension. Many young people in China feel that the government is not listening to their concerns and that their voices are not being heard. They see the trend of Bailon as a way to push back against the status quo and demand change. As a result, there has been a surge in young people quitting their jobs, moving away from their families, and pursuing alternative lifestyles. Some are becoming self-employed, while others are starting their own businesses or pursuing creative endeavors. This has led to a significant impact on China's economy, as many businesses are struggling to find workers, and there is a shortage of skilled labor in many industries. The Chinese government is taking notice of this trend and is understandably concerned about its impact on the country's economy and social stability. Xi Jinping himself has called on the youth to dare to dream, work hard, and strive to contribute to the rejuvenation of the nation. However, it remains to be seen whether these appeals will be enough to stem the tide of young people turning away from traditional career paths and lifestyles. Overall, the trend of Bailon in China is a complex phenomenon that reflects the challenges and frustrations facing young people in modern Chinese society. It is a powerful expression of their desire for change and their willingness to take risks and pursue their own paths of life. For decades, young people in China have struggled with the pressures and expectations of what a society that places a high value on academic achievement and material success. The Bailon movement is a reflection of this struggle, as young people reject the conventional path to success and search for alternative ways of living and thriving. But this movement is not limited to just the youth. It is spread like wildfire through the masses, with people of all ages and backgrounds joining the cause. From entrepreneurs to artists, from farmers to factory workers, people are realizing that there is more to life than just work and money. And while this movement may seem like a sudden change, it's actually part of a larger trend in China toward individualism and self-expression. The country has undergone a dramatic transformation in recent years, as it has moved from a strictly socialist society to one that is more capitalist and market-driven. This shift has brought with it both opportunity and challenges, and young people are at the forefront of this transformation. So while the trend of Bailon may be grabbing headlines now, it's important to remember that this is a movement that has been brewing in China for a long time. It's a reflection of the changing attitudes and values of a society in transition, as people search for new ways to live and thrive in a rapidly changing world. The impact of the Bailon movement in China is significant and far-reaching, affecting not only the individuals involved, but also the economy, politics, and society as a whole. On the individual level, the movement has empowered young people to take control of their lives and pursue their passions and dreams. It has provided an alternative to the traditional path of academic and career success and encouraged people to explore new paths and possibilities. This has led to a growing sense of individualism and self-expression, which is reshaping the social and cultural landscape of China. At the same time, the movement is having a profound impact on the economy. With many young people quitting their jobs and starting their own businesses, there is a growing entrepreneurial spirit in China. This has led to a surge in innovation and creativity as people seek to create new products and services to meet the changing needs of consumers. However, there are also concerns about the impact of the movement on the labor market and the availability of skilled workers in certain industries. Politically, the Bailon movement is a challenge to the ruling Communist Party of China, or CCP. It is a reflection of the growing dissatisfaction and disillusionment with the government's policies and priorities, particularly among young people. While the movement is largely peaceful and nonviolent, it is still seen as a threat by the authorities, who are concerned about the potential for social unrest and political instability. The Bailon movement in China is a reflection of the changing attitudes and values of a society in transition. It is challenging the status quo and providing an alternative vision of what it means to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. While there are certainly challenges and risks associated with the movement, it is also a source of hope and inspiration for many, as people seek to create a brighter and more inclusive future for themselves and for China. The concept of laying flat and letting it rot may be like a bizarre phenomenon to outsiders, but in China, it's becoming a symbol of the struggles of the middle class. And make no mistake, when we say middle class in China, we're talking about people who are scraping by on a few $100s a month, not exactly living in the lap of luxury. For these people, there is often no choice but to work long hours in grueling factory jobs, or to take on other low-paying work just to make ends meet. There is no room for letting it rot when you're struggling to put food on the table and support your family. Meanwhile, the country's wealthiest citizens continue to accumulate more and more wealth and power, often through dubious means like connections and nepotism. For them, the idea of lying flat is completely foreign. Why would they waste their time on such a frivolous pursuit when they can make even more money? But for the middle class, the pressures of work and the high cost of living have become almost unbearable. The idea of just taking a break and letting it rot for a while is increasingly appealing, even if it means giving up on traditional markers of success like career advancement and financial stability. It remains to be seen how this phenomenon will play out in the long term, and whether it will have any lasting impact on China's economy or society. But one thing is clear, the struggles of the middle class are a major issue in China, and they are not going away anytime soon. As we wrap up our discussion on China's youth in China, it's clear that this is a complex and multifaceted issue. While on the surface, it may seem like a simple act of rebellion, it is in fact a symptom of a much deeper problem in China's society and economy. The struggles of the middle class are real, and if not addressed, could have long-lasting consequences for China's future. Only time will tell how this movement will continue to evolve and impact the country's trajectory. But one thing is certain, it's a phenomenon worth watching closely.